Hello, welcome and thank you for being here. I hope you're having a gorgeous day or night. We're going to get you some clarity, see what's going on in the energy, what would be the most helpful for you to know. It's a timeless and collective reading, so see which messages feel like they really resonate. If it makes no sense, it's a message for someone else. It could also be a message for you, but it makes sense later. See how it feels and how that resonates for you. Try to remain open and always connect to that direct connection, to your higher self, to God, to source, to the universe, because we are all psychic and the answer is always in you. And try to make balanced decisions between logic and intuition. So your decisions are sound, based in love, and for the highest and greatest good of everyone. So we're all uplifted in love. Let's dive in. Let's see what God, Source, Holy Spirit, Christ consciousness, our higher selves, angels, and energies of love have for the highest, greatest good of all. We're starting pretty harsh. So if heartbreak is coming out first, it could be that you feel betrayed, you feel heartbroken, you're in this energy of grief. It's not just disappointment. I feel like you're really disappointed. I do feel like a lot of you opened up your heart, offered your truth, showed somebody your vulnerable side, and maybe even had that half glass full, hope for the best in a situation. Maybe it was high expectations for some of you, and somebody kind of let you down. Somebody didn't follow through. Somebody could have reacted or acted out of fear, scared to love, scared to lose, scared of something. But there's somebody here that's kind of left alone without even clarity. So some of you may have had a situation that you don't even know what happened. You just sort of have no answer. So you're sitting there like, swirling thoughts in your own mind and feeling all the feels at the same time and questioning everything. Was it you? Was it them? Is it something you said? I don't think it was you. I feel like there was something that happened with this other person, either in their life or within their own head or their own feels. It could also be for some of you, this is someone around you. It could be the person you are connected to that feels heartbroken. Maybe some of you have healed tremendously, and now the repercussions of this person's actions or what they actually lost are sort of, I don't feel like it's even trickling in. I feel like it's hitting somebody pretty hard. And I'm kind of getting all of the sudden. So for some of you, maybe you connected to someone and they sort of kept themselves busy, hoping that would occupy the feels they don't want to feel or the thoughts that were kind of overwhelming them. But I feel like somebody's it's hitting somebody now. For some of you, this could just be a friend that's going through heartbreak. Maybe you're the one that brings over the ice cream, gives them a little pep talk. Maybe they don't even want a pep talk. They just want somebody to know that they are there if they need them. I feel like somebody needs to be reminded how special they are and what they deserve. I'm even getting a little bit of that friend that's beautifully rough around the edges. Like, would you forget? Did you forget how amazeballs you are? Like, you don't need to be treated like that. You deserve more than breadcrumbs. Anyone that chooses not to be with you, they're lost. Like, come on, let's go do something. Do I need to remind you of how amazing you are and all that you've gone through? So I don't know if maybe this is a friend that you have, or you're that special person, or you need to give yourself a big old pep talk. Remind yourself what you deserve. Some, heartbreak, it's not easy. It's not easy. It is part of life. But you can have tremendous healing after heartbreak. You can learn so much about yourself and learn to, I hear value, but maybe reevaluate what you could have done differently, or all that you deserve or desire for the future. Even I hear like setting new boundaries for yourself, but you got to stick with them. Maybe somebody sort of crossed the line a little too often. You gave somebody the benefit of the doubt a little too much. I'm kind of getting that when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. More than the words. So let's see. Why is heartbreak coming through first? I mean, it's definitely not my favorite energy at all. But if it's coming through, it's an energy in the collective right now, and it needs to be looked at. I also feel like I'm getting a little bit of that beach ball energy. Sometimes I get that image where feelings can be like you shove them in a beach ball. You know, when you have one of those balls, you know, like a kid's ball in the pool, and you hold it down. You can even try to stand on it, but then at some point it gets slippy and it kind of pops up unexpectedly. I'm kind of getting that with this energy. You know, somebody felt like they could hold something down until, you know, something kind of slips out of their hands. Maybe you are the one that slipped out of somebody's hands, or you feel like somebody slipped out of yours. You know what, no matter which side of the coin you are on, whether you're in the situation or observing it from an outside perspective, there's something about you gaining new perspective over the situation. So clarify heartbreak. Tell us what we need to know about, I like healing. So I do feel like a lot of you are healing a lot faster than you thought, but I'm getting that maybe it slips back here and there. I heard always there. So I feel like maybe that's somebody you are connected to and you felt like, or they felt like you were always going to be there. So maybe some of you have healed and you've detached your energy from someone. And it's almost like, regardless of the communication factor in that situation, it's the release of maybe attention, but energy most of all that somebody feels. So maybe some of you did have to set some solid boundaries. And I don't think that was a make them pay kind of situation. You're going to give them the old silent treatment. I'm not getting that with you. I'm getting that it was a necessary step for your healing, for your peace of mind, for you to really refocus on yourself, self-love, your own energy, what you want to do. You know, even if it's maybe you in the beginning that needs to do something to kind of just keep yourself occupied. You have the energy of single here. Now, the message on the card is not the energy that I am receiving, because maybe in the beginning, because here it's where somebody kind of feels like they're an outsider, like they're always alone. Is your person ever going to come in? It doesn't even have to be a heartbreak of a lover. This could be loss of a friend, which can hurt way more in some cases, especially if it's somebody that you always thought would be there because they have your back and that's your bestie. So maybe some of you feel like you're the outsider because maybe you and a friend were always single together, and maybe you guys, some of you have a friend that found somebody. So now, like, you always wanted to go out Thursday nights with your buddy, and now they're home, you know, with their new honey, and your friend's not even calling you back. So I still feel like there's something valuable here. I do feel like some of you are going to meet somebody new, whether that's a friend or a new partner. But the beautiful message in this card is getting to know yourself. Using this gift of being single as an opportunity to enjoy your own company. For some people, all they want is a little like alone time. You know, not just, I don't know where you are in this scenario, but just picture somebody who has always had a partner, who always has roommates, who always has others around them, maybe a big family or, you know, a stressful job or something like that. And all they want to do is just before they get home, sit in their car, have like 5 minutes where they don't have to attend something or answer something or do something, or, you know, it's like they just need that space, that hermit space. And for some people, 5 minutes is the most valuable thing ever. And then for others, they have all the space they need, but they don't see the blessing in that. If you are blessed with some space, I feel like you need to take that space and put some value in it for you. What have you always wanted to do? Are you enjoying your own company? Because if some of you are hoping to meet somebody, but you don't really like being around yourself, you can't really expect somebody else to have a lot of fun with you. You also can't have the expectation that somebody else is going to bring that happiness in your life. That's way too much pressure on somebody else. if you are in that space where they come, they don't come, but either way, you're enjoying your life. You're doing your thing. You're having fun. It's usually when you're in that kind of vibration, that connection to all of your chakras, where when you're not looking, sometimes somebody comes right on in. Sometimes somebody comes in your life like unexpectedly, actually when you don't want it, but maybe when you need it. Sometimes you meet somebody and that is like a little catalyst, a little muse to create some changes in your life. I am getting that there is somebody who kind of feels alone, but I'm sort of seeing that there could be somebody who's alone, even in a relationship. You know, because I keep seeing that person sitting out in the car. You can be in a relationship but not feel a connection. You can be in a relationship and it's unrequited love, where maybe the person is there, you know, the daily chores are being attended to, but there's not an emotional connection, or there's not a soulful connection, or, you know, there's not a bond that feels authentic. So it's possible to be around a lot of people and still feel lonely. There could be a few of you right now that definitely have your guard up. You've been hurt. You're like, I'd rather be alone, thank you, than be in the drama. I'd rather be alone, thank you, than, you know, getting all worried about if someone's going to show up or not, receiving breadcrumbs, hanging by the phone to see if somebody's going to text you back to see if you're important or not. There's some of you that have learned a big lesson and you're just not going to take less than you deserve, which is strong, which is powerful, which is beautiful. But what if there's somebody out there that is deserving and you're so guarded that everyone's going to hurt you, that you're not opening yourself up to the right person? Sometimes you gotta take a chance, even if maybe it leads to heartbreak, but maybe it doesn't. I am kind of getting somebody that I'm kind of getting a friend kind of energy. So maybe it's starting off as friends for some of you, but I sort of feel like I just keep hearing opening up. Maybe you're opening up to somebody that isn't your normal type, or somebody you didn't think you'd ever really groove with, but you actually do. Isolation, lonely. I feel like some of you are taking yourself out on a date as well. If you do have somebody around you and you haven't had some alone time in a while, then maybe you need to take them out on a date. I feel like somebody didn't show up for something. I am getting a huge disappointment. Like somebody's just like waiting around. Like I see dinner made. Somebody's like gotten dressed up. They put the perfume or the cologne on. You know, they shaved all their parts and everything. And then like they waited around, and then like there wasn't even like, hey, I'm going to be late. It was like a way after the fact, not really getting, not even getting any clarity. Like not even somebody who had self-responsibility for not showing up. That sucks. That sucks. I feel like if that's your situation, maybe you need to set some solid boundaries. Be like, dude, lady, you know, whoever you are, look it. If you can't show up, it's cool. It's cool. I have things I can do, but do not keep me hanging. Do not keep me waiting. I will invite somebody else to have this amazing food that I cooked, or I will go out by myself, because that's better than waiting for your irresponsible ass. You're like, you don't have to show up, but just tell me you're not going to. And I feel like you need to show up for yourself. And if somebody is repeating a pattern, that's your sign. If you are enabling that situation or always hoping that it changes, but it never really does, you need to be the one to change. You can't make someone else change. So, I am getting also that some of you are a little too guarded, and there's somebody that is trying to hint that they want you to open up, or hint that they know you're not doing anything on Friday night and maybe you want to hang out, but some of you just aren't ready. But I feel like some of you are. But that comes with saying yes. So let's get one more from this. Let's see. There was a lot of messages that came through that. Heartbreak and single, because I just keep hearing mingle. ready to mingle. And I feel like for some of you, it's not even mingling with others, but just being amongst others. Because I see somebody kind of observing a crowd. Like I actually see like a concert or something like that, something in the community where there's kind of cool, different situations to see. I see a lot of different, I actually see a lot of different styles. I don't know why I see that. Maybe some of you even live in a city. Maybe if even some of you live in a city or something like that, it's going to the other part of the city you don't normally hang out at. Like a different neighborhood, maybe even a different state. Let's see. I am also getting a different message here. For some of you, there may have been somebody that was always in a partnership, and maybe for some of you, somebody that was not available is becoming available. I am sort of seeing, though, that there's still a space. I don't think it's a rebound kind of situation. And I feel like if you recognize that maybe there's a rebound kind of energy, maybe that's how I saw that friendship thing before. Maybe you can hang out, you can get to know them, you can spend time together. Maybe you do have chemistry, but I feel like it's up to you to be the one to maybe slow it down, because I see that somebody that's out of a situation still needs to heal. You are not meant to be their Band-Aid. You are maybe meant to be that beautiful honey on the wound. So let's see. Let's get one more. Clarify, heartbreak, and single. What else would be helpful for the collective today? Clarity on heartbreak and single. Is there anything else? Between the lines and healing. I saw the healing. So you are feeling better. Maybe somebody, I did see somebody kind of trying to always cross that boundary. It could also be that somebody had no idea they were crossing the boundary if you never spoke up. I don't feel like you were trying to ever cross a boundary. And I feel like if that goes the other way for some of you and you're the one that crossed somebody's boundary, I feel like they didn't speak up. You weren't really aware that there was territory that was making them uncomfortable. So maybe that's where a conversation comes about if some of you have communication. Maybe you need to be the one to bring up a question if somebody is not so quick to speak. It's possible somebody didn't even consciously know that there was a boundary there, but subconsciously they reacted to it being crossed. Here, somebody was between the lines, you know, in and out, up and down, vague, you know, hidden meaning on something, not really giving all the details, kind of giving you a half-ass apology or excuse, or I hear unclarity. I don't even know if that's actually the word. Unclear about something. Maybe somebody gave an answer, but that still left you kind of unclear, like kind of grasping for straws. Implicit and speculating. Don't be presumptuous and don't speculate that somebody was doing something or not doing something before you have a face-to-face conversation. I am getting that you at least, I'm getting this big, you at least need to hear the person's voice. This is not a situation that is going to be resolved or healed or really understood via text. Hi, baby. It's definitely something that maybe there was a text misconstruing, you know, miscommunication that happened, because sometimes you don't get the inflections. You don't get the joke. You don't really, especially if people talk in their phone, when you can't hear the voice or the underlying energy of where they're actually coming from, text can make things go kind of wonky. I'm going to show you this, and I think Rose has to go out for a moment. I'll be right back for you guys. When I was taking Rose out, I actually got an extra message for some of you. If you are the one that's being kind of vague, maybe not even giving somebody some solid closure, a yes, a no, I feel like maybe some of you are trying to prevent heartbreak, or hoping you will, by just sort of kind of taking back your energy, but you're being a little wishy-washy. I feel like for some of you to ignore that heartbreak energy and not just be direct is you're not meaning to, but I feel like some of you are actually like stretching out that heartbreak even worse. If you are keeping somebody on the line and you do not want them to be there, you need to be direct. Because if you're keeping somebody around and you don't really want to hurt their feelings, they're a nice person, you know, you value them, but you're not really into them, and somebody is latching on to the hopes that maybe something will happen and you know nothing is going to happen, you need to be more clear with them, because I feel like that closure is going to maybe have, you know, a process of healing that has to happen. But I feel like for that person, whoever I see that really desires you, but you're not, you're kind of unrequited love back, I feel like there's another person that's supposed to come in for them. And if you want to do the best thing for them and you do care about this person, or you're coming from a spiritual perspective, you want somebody to be happy, not sit there and think they're happy, but actually be miserable and you're not really happy at the same time. It's just a lot of misery, you know, messy situation. I feel like if you don't, you know, really groove with somebody, there's somebody that person is going to groove with more than they thought they grooved with you with. That was like a tongue twister. But I am getting this healing energy all over in your energy and all the other energies, or, you know, dynamics of people you could be connected to as well. It's that honey in a wound. I did see the honey, but it's also a multifaceted situation. There's not one way to look at a situation. So maybe it's trying to see something in somebody else's perspective. It's feeling like you're getting better, you're on the mend, you're making progress. Sometimes you make progress and then you have a weird ass day and you're crying in the bathtub, but it's okay. Be gentle on yourself. I'm also seeing that if some of you are connecting to someone that is in a healing process or has gone through a situation, maybe it's been a rough road for somebody else. Maybe for you, you know, you've had heartbreak, but you're pretty solid. You're pretty good at getting up again or transmuting those energies of what you've gone through into something positive. But maybe somebody else isn't used to that and they're not so good at it and they need a little extra time. Have patience. I feel like somebody is making more progress than you might see outwardly. I also feel like there might be somebody you see outwardly and it looks like they're fine, happy and dandy, but inside they're kind of breaking. And I feel like you're gonna feel that energy more than what you outwardly see or what you hear. So trust the energies. And also trust the timing. You know, when if you want somebody to open up, or let's just say you are hoping you get to open up, trust the timing that it's the right moment to do so. In the moment, you'll know. And if you like really want to say something and then you get in a conversation, you're like, yeah, it's not the right time. Trust it. The right time will come in. And if it's not with the person you're thinking, the right time, I'm getting like I did hear reconnection, but maybe it's a reconnection in yourself, but a new connection you get to have with perhaps somebody brand new in your life. So let's see. I actually just thought of a deck of cards I haven't used in a while. It's like the What's Blocking You deck. Let me go grab it for you quick. This is actually a pretty big deck of cards. So I'm going to pull a card to see what the possible block maybe in your situation, but if this is not you, maybe you're fully aware of what your block was and you've broken down that wall, I hear single-handedly on your own. I actually see somebody with like a big hammer. You know when you like break down a wall in the house, you know, not where there's the structure of the building, but when you like want to make a room doubled and you get that first like, oh, I want the big hammer. I see somebody like, I'm going to do it. And like just purposely putting a hole in that situation. It's like the start to something opening up. It feels very empowering. But if this message that comes through just kind of doesn't make sense to you, it might be giving you clarity on what somebody else is going through. So whether that's, you know, a romantic situation or not, maybe just a friend. what would be a possible block that is going on in the energy of the collective, that is healing, that is being seen, that is coming out of the shadows, it's being recognized, and there's clarity in consciousness. Somebody is scared that somebody's going to cheat. So maybe some of you have been betrayed. I mean, that was one of the first things that came through. Maybe for some of you, you've been in a situation that could have been like in high school. It could have been a long time ago. For some of you, maybe it's a recent situation. But if somebody is, oh, I'm getting an accusation. So if you are always in the energy where you think that person is going to do something, and I just get somebody like all up in somebody's grill, like all up in their butt, like, where are you going? Why are you doing that? Who are you going to be with? You have to call me when you get there. All of that energy kind of feels pushy. Like it kind of feels like the energy that somebody really wouldn't want to be around. Somebody wants to be trusted. You know, if somebody's just out with their besties or out with some people at work and they just want to kind of have a good time and want to feel trusted, but in that space still have that excitement to get back to the one they actually want to be with, that they actually trust. You know, when it's like, okay, gotta go do my thing, call me when you're ready. When it's that kind of open freedom that is offered because you give somebody the benefit of the doubt, you give somebody your trust, that person more than likely is going to be thinking about you the entire time they're out and how they just want to come home to you. Now, if you have seen some red flags and you recognize that there's absolutely a situation or a person that you cannot trust, then you need to get rid of the fear of asking the big question and seeing what that reaction is. And you're taking a chance. You know, you don't want to be heartbroken, but if you're in a situation where somebody is cheating on you all the time, or they are there, but you recognize they are not there, they're not all in, they don't have that authentic happiness, then sometimes that hard-ass question of, I mean, maybe it's a question that can even be addressed before it becomes, you know, the big issue. Sometimes there are easy solutions to something that can be discussed and talked about before there's that big disconnect where someone feels like they just don't want to be there anymore, but they don't know how to get out. If you are afraid that someone's going to leave you, so you're totally ignoring somebody that is really not respecting you at all, but you're in that energy of codependency where you'd rather sit there and know that you're not getting what you deserve because you're afraid of being alone. Better to be alone than to be alone in a partnership where someone's not even wanting to be there. So maybe it's really getting some big girl, big boy balls on and saying, look, you don't want to be here. I don't want to be with somebody who doesn't really want to be here. I want to be either by myself because I enjoy my own company, or with somebody that's all in. So that is a hard conversation, and not everyone's ready to have that. Some people just ignore it. It's like the ostrich in the, ostrich in the sand, but something's still going on around their ass. You push that big elephant under the rug, but you're constantly tripping over that awkward energy daily. So if that is you, maybe you need to have that hard question, that hard conversation. Or maybe it's about having that conversation beforehand so someone feels validated that you just trust them. And say, hey, look, I trust you. But if you ever get the urge that you just aren't happy with me, or something's not satisfying you here and you're feeling a little disconnect, let's discuss it, see if something can be resolved. And if not, we'll figure it out, but we'll do it like mature adults and with mutual respect of one another, even if it feels awkward. It is possible to have that conversation and always have that respect and say, look, You know, what I was thinking this partnership was going to be 5 years ago or when I was 20 is not the same as when I'm 30. So because I respect the time we've had together and who you are as a person, I'm going to bring this up now and see, you know, if this is a resolvable situation or not. And it's also recognizing that just because somebody ripped your heart out of your asshole before in the past, maybe somebody was an asshole, it doesn't mean everybody's going to do it. Sometimes you do have to give somebody the benefit of the doubt and break down that wall. If you enter into a new partnership already thinking that they're going to hurt you, you're already tainting the foundation of what could be beautiful. There are beautiful people out there. You know, your angels and God want you to connect to somebody that brings healing together or healing from past karmic situations that you've gone through. If some of you are going through a karmic situation, it is to give you clarity on what is not so good for you. So when that beautiful gift is presented to you, you embrace it, you love it, you cherish it, you're all in, and you don't take it for granted. Now picture you as being the one that's that gift for someone else. You come in offering your full heart, and then somebody else, because they've been hurt in the past, thinks you're full of crap, or thinks that, where's that one? You know, they're speculating how you're going to probably do something, you know, to be hurtful to them. That's a weird energy to have come at you when you're coming from a truthful heart and a truthful place. The difference here is you can't control how someone else feels. All you can do is embody the truth of who you are and hope that maybe somebody heals with you. Maybe that happens experience by experience, somebody feeling more and more comfortable around your energy. And I feel like if there was a situation for some of you and you are having a discussion and you do want this resolved and healed, you gotta be truthful. You gotta own up to your own actions and not do the blame game on somebody else or on your past. You have to see the role you did or did not play in a situation and have that true spiritual depth and maturity to really have healing in it. And that process, if you and somebody else want to heal a whack situation or a messy situation that happened, it can be done, but it's going to take time and it's going to take effort. And that effort has to be mutual, not just a one-sided mirror. I didn't even read this card. It does say fear of cheating. It says not everybody cheats. You need to open your heart and trust your partner. So all of you have a different situation. You offer that trust, but you know it has been broken, then you have to trust yourself. Because that's the person you absolutely should be able to rely on. And if you have somebody that is coming in your life and they are really trying their best, they're showing their effort, even if there's a mess up, but they're really, really putting effort in and, you know, backing up their words with their actions, then maybe it takes some time, but I do feel like there can be healing there. I kind of feel like some of you are blaming somebody that didn't do anything. But I kind of feel like you could have been on the other side of that coin too. Maybe you're gorgeous and you have a lot of people hitting on you. You're a hot, you know, hot stud. And maybe you just have to like, even like you don't feel like you're necessarily the best looking person, but you have a great personality. You have a great vibe about you. People are kind of drawn to you. So if you have somebody that's not so confident, that might be a threat. Now, if you have two people that no matter, you know, where they are or what their vibe is, what their style is, you know, if they're hot or cool or not, but there's still an attractiveness about them. Because attractiveness is it's an internal thing. It's a charisma thing. Way more than it is on the outside. But let's just say you have two people confident in each other, give themselves that confidence, and then they see that the other one gets attention, but they know or they trust that in the end, like, yeah, that's my man. Look at all those ladies, you know, fawning all over them. Or, yeah, that's my lady. Look at, she's hot. She can get in any VIP room she wants to. But it's knowing that you're proud of that because that's yours and that person chose you for a reason. Not that they're going to maybe choose somebody else that's younger or smarter or better. That's in that lack mentality. And I feel like that's not what's coming in for you, but you need to change your mindset. I feel like I had another message and I you know, like it's kind of like this. I kind of like lost it. Let me pause you for a minute because I feel like it's important and I want to meditate and see if I can get it back. Hold on. I know this is weird. It's the saboteur that I was getting. And I don't, I feel like this might be past for most of you. That maybe somebody who cheated or was unfaithful could have, I'm getting kind of subconsciously, more than super conscious about their actions, but subconsciously may have, you know, when like somebody doesn't want to be there, so they like make an argument happen, or they kind of do things that irritate the other person to get them to break up with them first because they're too chicken shit to do it themselves. I kind of get that. I feel like somebody was kind of a chicken shit. So they were hoping that maybe if they did something that was not even really what they wanted to do, because I don't feel like if somebody was with somebody, they really wanted to do it. I feel like if somebody actually made a connection to somebody and they really wanted to be there, the process would have been done differently. There would have been a different energy than I'm picking up. I feel like there could be somebody here that kind of like, even if they didn't really cheat, they just kind of even insinuated like they didn't, you know, kind of leaving something vague and open-ended. So maybe you would pick a fight with them because if they didn't want to be there, they feel better, like they're going to cause you less heartbreak by telling you, you know, the like vague truth or, you know, breadcrumbs here and there to help you fill in the lines. And that you leaving them would make it easier than them just addressing something. I feel like I'm getting chicken shit energy here. It'd be so much easier for them to just address the situation. They're not happy. Something needs to be done. It's not you, it's me, whatever. Than to do something weird, to spark a fight, to get the other person to leave them first. So I am getting a little of that for some of you. Maybe that's giving you some clarity on why somebody did something. We're going to go to the angel numbers. Let's get you an angel number. We're going to switch gears a little bit. That was a lot of messages that came through on the 4 cards and the foundational energy here. So, and I guess, yeah. So let's get an angel number. What is one angel number, please? And thank you. Angel number that would be the most helpful for the collective. 666 and 1818. So I know there's a stigma with the 666 energy, but it's actually a very powerful vibration. So it is telling you it's time to reflect. Also, that adds up to 18. So maybe this is like the moon times 3. Love, affection, and compassion, kindness, attention, and self-love. Which I think takes us back to the first few messages that came through. Several unexpected developments enter your life and impact how you feel. But this is a chance right now to reevaluate your identity. You need a mental shift towards exactly what I got before, towards greater optimism, self-assurance, and trust. Put your faith in your gut and your inner voice. Pay attention to the feelings and use them for you to become a better person, for you to grow. I'm also getting with this because there is a stigma on certain things they are bad. You know, that is evil. That is that. I feel like that's that closed-minded, ingrained by societal whatever. And maybe it's facing something that feels like a shadow or feels like it's scary. I did get that message with someone asking a big question or having a conversation. And the thought about facing it is usually way worse than the facing it. Even if facing it brings a tower moment, but after the tower moment, it takes you to the start. It takes you to hope. It takes you to healing. It takes you to evolving and growing. To just not want to face something and stick your head in the sand is not going to really get you anywhere. It's just going to make you spin around in circles like a dog chasing its tail, you know, or constantly chasing that carrot dangled in front of you, but you never grasp it. 1818 is your willpower. It's achievements, success, striving forward, prosperity, being a go-getter, having some courage, and luck. Wow. Significant events. Both of these say you have developments and events that are going to happen. Significant events are in the cards for you. You will progress in your endeavors and gain new experiences. The right people, the right resources will be a part of your path. An excellent proposal or change is coming up. You're destined for greatness. If you're in any situation and you were getting less than you deserve, then it's you recognizing how much you do deserve and embodying that powerful magnetism in you. So you are like a magnet that draws things in that are positive towards you. It could also be like a magnet where you are in the energy or you're in that personal power, where like a magnet, when it goes opposite, something is just repelled. But it's going to be those things that can't stand your light. It's going to be the things that would have been a red flag, weird situation that you have learned from the past and aren't going to get into anymore. And you know what? Good riddance. Goodbye. Thank you. Next. Peace. Adieu. Wish you the best. But you are moving to bigger and brighter things in your life. And if this isn't like a romantic partnership for you, this could be a brand new job. This could be a new environment. This could be a new friend group or a bestie. Take it as it resonates for your particular situation. The underlying lesson that comes through messages is always the same. You get to tailor it to what it is your intuition is drawing you towards and you are thinking about. So let's go to the tarot. We didn't even use any tarot yet. So let's do this one. We went from the angel number. Let's do an angel wisdom. What is a message, or what is the I keep hearing progression. I also feel like I have a sneeze sneaking on in. When I feel a sneeze, it usually means that there's about to be a release, a cleanse. It's like a tickle right now. I don't know if it's going to come or not. I feel like it went away. That was so weird. Maybe something is like just, you know, when you get, I'm kind of getting that, like, you know, something's going to change in the weather. You know, you feel like a prickle on your skin. You feel like an electricity in the air, even if the sun is still out. And then boom, clap. You know, all of a sudden the cloud comes in and there's a storm. I am getting that there's a cleanse coming in. So let's see. What is the main energy that you need to have awareness on right now, today? Please and thank you. What is the main energy to be aware of for the collective? That I love this. The main energy right now is you need to put your effort, your work, your time, and your attention. I said I Freudian slipped intention. So maybe it's about your intentions, being truthful and authentic. This is where you might need to invest your time in a person in order for something to really have a solid foundation, to have that prosperity energy that wants to come in later. Sometimes you have to start with simplicity. You have to go back to the basics. You have to adjust and rewrite the rules. But whatever this is with the Eight of Pentacles, it's that apprentice kind of energy. Maybe some of you are going to school. Maybe some of you right now, if you are single, you're reflecting on a project or, you know, something you've always wanted to try, a skill you've always, you know, had in curiosity that maybe you'd be good at. Sometimes this is just signing up for a class, but how can you do something where you have to continually put effort into something, whatever that is? For some of you, maybe it's meditating 5 minutes a day. For some of you, if it's a relationship, maybe you go on a date every Friday night. For some of you, if this is you going to school, you have to go to school 3 hours, 3 days a week. For some of you, you want to learn something or have some information from somebody that's more of a mentor, you have to go to a weekend seminar. For some of you, if you want to be a pilot, you better get up on that plane more than 2 hours every 4 weeks, or something is not going to be second nature or autopilot to you. You have to learn how whatever energy you need to be placed is done, at least it's consistency. But that consistency is different depending on the situation. I do feel like some of you are working on a skill, and I feel like some of you are doing something that's kind of unique. You know, like you're a female plumber, or I don't know, maybe I don't know. I just saw a male cheerleader. Maybe you're a coach. You know, something like that, where you're kind of like not the typical one. You're kind of like the one that may I keep seeing now a male ballerina. It's kind of interesting. Like I used to be around a lot of dancers, and I can just think of the male dancers that, like, you know, the ones that were into girls. Just say that because that's what I'm thinking here. I was in theater, so I saw everything, but they got all the girls. All of the girls. I don't know, maybe that's important for someone. I'm not sure why that came out now, because they were kind of like they were the only one. The girls weren't around anyone else because they were just in dance class all the time. So maybe that is someone, because I do feel like maybe there was a player energy. You know, somebody had all that accessibility right there in their fingertips. But if somebody is kind of jumping around, I feel like they're never really finding that depth that I feel like if that person was, let's just say the energy, a little bit of a player. They like the attention. They like that, you know, it was there. They're going to give it a try. But I feel like that person is starting to feel hollow, or they will. They don't want to just be with anyone there and not really have that deep connection. There's somebody here that is seeing that in order for something to be tangible, touchable, real, relatable, reliable, and have that growth that just keeps expanding, there needs to be that foundational, beautiful, divine connection first. And if there's somebody that's just kind of bouncing around, hoping that the next greatest thing will bring it in, I feel like that's an emptiness within that person that they're trying to fulfill by having somebody else come in. And it's never really fulfilled by anyone else until somebody has stepped into their truth. That's kind of a different message than I normally get with the Eight of Pentacles. But here it does have somebody like, you have an anvil. This guy has pretty cool style. Maybe there's something about an apron as well. I actually see somebody sewing an apron or working somewhere where there's an apron. Learning, I see maybe cool aprons. I know that's extra, but if, like, I'm thinking of those cool restaurants where it's not like the typical apron that you get on Amazon. I'm seeing something kind of tailor-made even, because look at that guy's shirt. See how it's kind of cool? And look at how cool her apron is. It's like jeans. So maybe if you have a business or something like that, it's about getting maybe a cool uniform or a cool apron, or maybe having some way that somebody can still express their own personal style, but there's still something uniform. That was definitely a different message from this card. Learning all you can about a subject or career. I'm going to also say a person, because this was a lot of love here. Learning all you can. Keep unpeeling the layers. Keep asking more questions. Talk about your fears. Talk about your dreams. Spend time together to learn this. Going back to school, I saw that. Taking a seminar. For some of you, there's something that you can do, and it is just like a weekend thing or a week. And you can get a lot out of it that can bring you a lot more prosperity or clarity, or I'm kind of getting that it gives you that little boost. It gives you that extra little spice that others don't have because you took some time to go to that weird seminar, that thing you saw an advertisement for, you looked up. For some of you, I see you in a psychic class or maybe a tarot class or something like that. I definitely, with this, you know, the crystal energy over here, maybe even psychology or, I don't know. I know there's people that go and they like coach on relationships, but it's more on empowering you to see your value and your worth than getting you a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a husband or a wife. It's not that. There's something that this class or this communication, you know, these messages are more empowering for you to understand yourself in every situation than, you know, trying to hook you up with someone. But I do see that, some kind of class. I just thought of Matthew Hussey. I know that's very specific, and I'm not sponsored by him, but I did meet him once. It was interesting. I saw him in New York City, and I had seen him online. This was years ago. I think he's still doing his thing. But I knew who he was, and it's interesting because I knew my sister had a little crush on him, and she happened to be with me. And I said, look, I don't, you know, like I know who you are, but I kind of just want you to say hello to my sister because she has a little secret crush on you, and it would just make her year to say hi to you. He was like, yeah, of course. So I was like, hey, sis, going over here. I have a friend I want you to meet. So maybe it's like that. That's even sweet. I do know that he does empower people, which is, I like that. So maybe that's helpful to some of you. Maybe some of you are the one that can do that. Maybe some of you need to get an education on how you can help others. Maybe some of you are meant to be healers because you've been through some shit in the heartbreak department. If you've been through anything in your life and it's been a rough road, but you have transmuted that energy, it is often because you're supposed to be there for others that are going through it and haven't gotten to that self-reflection, being able to be in self-empowerment and transmute that energy yet. But maybe you're the inspiration for someone. Doesn't, you know, mean that going through it was any less harsh, but the way you healed was different. The way you handled it was different. Attention to detail, finding a mentor, and skilled work that you love. I definitely see somebody learning something in design. I keep seeing a class. Like I'm getting like psychic energy, but maybe it's a Reiki class, or maybe it's, I don't know, do they have like psychic schools, something like that? Maybe there's a person that you like and you can just go and have a moment. Like, I am seeing a moment. I don't know if maybe that's a medium. That's not for all of you. Maybe it is for some of you, though. You'll know when it's real. I had that accidentally happen to me, not on purpose. It kind of came out of nowhere. And I had somebody who absolutely knew things they could not have known. I mean, like grandmother, grandfather, personal stuff that they did in their personal life kind of stuff where you're like, wow. And it actually like was very healing, especially because, you know, I lost my father. I lost a lot of people in my life that I loved. But those messages, I'm getting the goosies. This is for someone. And for some of you, maybe it's not seeking it out, but maybe this does somehow happen. And it does give this like a healing, but I know with that situation, it took me a few weeks to process exactly what had just happened, because it was just, I mean, even me, you know, tapping into energies and all that, you know, I don't do mediumship. I get messages from energies, but I don't hang around my house talking to dead people. That's not where my gift is. But some people do have that gift. And if it comes through authentically, it is only to heal. There's never going to be any kind of heavy energy. It's always an uplift. That was a kind of a different message I didn't expect. So let's get another one. Clarity on 8 of Pentacles. If this is upside down, you're not putting enough effort into it. Or if this is upside down, somebody else had all the potential to have something, you know, be really abundant, but never showed up to class. Didn't have enough time or dates or Netflix moments with you. Conversations. You know, it's somebody that paid all the money to learn something, but only came once. Let's see. Clarify 8 of Pentacles, please. Why is 8 of Pentacles coming through? Let's just get another message and dig a little deeper into this energy of learning, expansion, education, effort. What does the collective need to know? Well, that's expansion. You got the Empress. So whether you're, you know, whatever your gender is, this Empress energy is what you need to right now tap into. Also recognizing that you're holding a baby unicorn. So when you recognize maybe somebody else is also a unicorn, you value it. There's the moon. I did see the 18 times 3. The Empress is that feminine energy, that nurturing energy. She is the natural healer. She's the sexiest feminine energy that can be in the tarot, because it's the Empress. She's everything. She's like someone, like if you were looking for your Empress, she's the one that has it all, and yet feels so unbelievable. Like, how did you find a unicorn? You can't be real. Maybe that's where somebody was. They had a unicorn in their hand. They're like, no, I heard about these, but this has to be fake. Something has to be wrong. And maybe that was that saboteur energy that I saw. If you let an Empress go, someone's going to be hurting big time with that. Especially if they've settled for less than that. It could also be where somebody had an Empress. There's not just one Empress in the world. It could be where somebody got the chance to be with an Empress, or really recognize that beautiful divine energy, and maybe even had a couple of not Empresses in that situation to recognize maybe down the line, for whoever this is, they meet another Empress. They're not going to let that person go. For some of you, I feel like there's only one Empress. Like if it's your person, there's just the one. But for some of you, maybe I am getting, you know what? Like I am getting for some of you that if your heart has been closed because you are maybe a widower or a widow, this is not all of you. This is going to be a very small group. But I saw the energy with the medium and like my dad and all that. Grandparents, I do feel like some of you may have believed that, you know, you lost the love of your life, you can never love again. And I don't think that's the truth. For some of you, you have signed up to be with maybe 2, maybe 3 for some of you. Amazing people that are absolutely soulmate meant for you, but meant for you at the right time periods in your life, the right chapters you have gone through for, you know, whatever process or healing that you are going through at the time is. So if you feel like you can never meet anyone that's as good as that last person, I feel like if some of you have somebody on the other side, they're coordinating. They're coordinating out there in the energies for you to find the right person, if that's in your soul that you desire. Or if it's in your soul and your brain doesn't think that you desire it, but your soul knows it would be good for you. There's no jealousy or animosity when you get to the other side. There's no one that you have loved and they're like, oh, I never want my person to be happy by anybody except me again. They have to be miserable for the rest of their life. Absolutely not. That's bullshit. Even if your person was maybe not so spiritual, when you are in that soul energy, when you're in the ethereal, you regain the memory you didn't have before. Mostly, everyone, everybody's soul is in a different situation. I'm going general here. And I feel like if some of you thought that, your honey will never be replaced, it's not you replacing them. It's you getting to experience the life you are here to live now, but maybe with somebody else. Maybe it won't be the same as that other person. That doesn't mean they won't be incredible for you. That was a really big message for somebody. And I feel like it was a very small group. Hi, baby. So maybe it is working through those emotions, the ebb and the flow, using your instinct and your intuition. Maybe there were secrets that were vague in between the lines. Maybe somebody was trying to cover all of their tracks, and yet their emotional truth was somewhere else. The moon is powerful. The moon can be illusions. It can be like that new moon energy where you start something new, but it can also be that dark energy where you just can't see what's in front of you. You're walking through the woods and you run into a tree. So you better bring your spiritual headlight to help you through maybe a dark space. Maybe this is even a dark night of the soul energy that's come through, which doesn't happen just once or twice. Sometimes that happens quite a bit. This Empress has had a lot of experiences to get to this point where she recognizes how valuable she is and who is worthy of being in her sphere, in her world, in her energy. And the Empress isn't afraid to tell somebody no. Be like, you're not going to come in my kingdom with that attitude or with, that half effort. She's totally boss. She can be controlling. She can be, she runs a kingdom. That's not like a pussyfooting, flaky kind of energy there. The Empress is strong, but it's also that strength where it's not overpowering. It's not needy. It's not straining anything. It's not forceful. It's total allowance, because the Empress has such a beautiful direct connection to source that she is always gifted guidance to know what to allow in, and maybe even what doesn't deserve it yet but has a lot of potential, and how to navigate that specific situation. She has a trumpet and she has a big ass shield there, but her shield is shaped like a heart. It's like Venus. The Empress is also a very fertile energy. It's being able to birth new things, take those ideas and make it a business. Say hello and make that amazing friendship if it feels like a connection. The Empress sometimes wants the best for everybody else so much that sometimes she totally forgets to give to herself, because she feels love so big. But if she wants to feel love so big, but she's not really getting it fully in return, but she keeps depleting herself or giving her love out there because she always sees the best or wants everything to be magical in her kingdom, but she's not a realist. She has to be a realist too, to sometimes be a tough cookie. So with the moon, let's see what this says. Usually you got the dog and the wolf. You have two towers, but they're strong. Maybe there's two separate kingdoms here. Maybe it's going with the flow in the river of life. However it twists and turns, and the babbling brook or the lull or the waterfalls. I feel like maybe there's something about a bridge, burning bridges, or maybe water under the bridge. Listen to your intuition, pay attention to the signs from the divine, and don't worry about something that hasn't actually happened yet, or you don't have the direct truth about. Let go of your fears. I definitely saw that. Let go of your fears. To worry about something that is not in your control is just wasted energy. Revelations that will make everything clear. So if it's a dark moon, there will be a full moon. Look forward to that full moon energy. Look forward to maybe that release. Look forward to that illumination. Take time to take action. I like that this is a masculine energy with the most feminine in the deck, the divine feminine. Give birth to your dreams. No matter what your gender is, what's your dream? How can you start it? What is something that you want to put your attention in, or someone, or whatever this is, where it doesn't feel like it's work. It feels like it's fun. It feels like even if it takes a lot of effort, you get to do it and you want to do it again. Creative projects that are very successful, and it's abundance, it's prosperity, it's the harvest, it's that golden energy. But to get to that harvest, you got to plant seeds. You got to do a lot of work out there in the fields. You have to tend that garden and recognize that there's going to be a time for harvest, but maybe there was some weird weather patterns or some changes where you have to be in the energy of flexibility to know that, you know, something eventually will have huge growth. Let's just say you plant those seeds out there. You put all this energy and work and effort. And let's just say in the middle of July, a big old snowstorm comes through. Everything freezes, everything dies. Or there's a weird fire of destruction. Maybe you don't get that harvest this season, but maybe you prepare for it different in the future. Or maybe if you're like, I live in a place with really weird weather. Sometimes it's like a frost and then it's a fire and it's 90 degrees and then it's 20 degrees. I don't know if my garden's going to grow very big there. So maybe I'm going to bring something inside, or I'm going to buy a warehouse and make sure it has all the grow lights and the, you know, I see that thing at the supermarket where it squirts the vegetables with the mist that it needs so something can grow. So even if something didn't work out, that kingdom didn't really flourish so much, what did you learn? And if you still want to have that kingdom grow, what do you need to change so it grows? And if there's something that worked, you know, and that effort was put in, it's being proud of yourself for all the effort you put into something being such a success in your life. And what is it for you that feels successful? Is it your truth? Is it what you really want to put your energy into? Or is it because your grandfather and then your father and then your Uncle Joe all did the family business, but you've always wanted to be a painter, but you got to do the family business? Or, you know, there has to be a lawyer in the family, or somebody has to go to school. You have to make sure you get your college education. You can't go around the world and learn who you are and travel the world like you've always wanted to since you were a kid. You don't do that. That's frivolous. What is your truth? What is success? For some people just want to be free. Some people just want to feel like, you know, they can have the time to take and go out in the garden, and they don't have like crazy stressful bills, and they have a simple little cottage, and they have their family or their friends over once in a while, and, you know, Friday night pizza night. And that is their success. For some people, they want to have 10 kingdoms and have it keep growing. Or some people want to be in the spotlight. But that successful energy is going to be tapping into your divinity, into your destiny. And it's always going to somehow reflect, even if it doesn't feel like you're, let's just say you want to do something and you're like, no, I'm just an entertainer. Like, I don't know how much good is that going to do in the world? Do you enjoy it? Do you somehow bring inspiration from your entertainment? If you're a comedian, do you give somebody a pocket of laughter in their stressful world? If you do something dramatic, do you display your dramatics in a way where somebody that's been through something dramatic relates to it, resonates to it, and maybe even works out some emotions that they have tucked away for a long time because they are seeing that inner reflection out there, and the way you portrayed it, I'm kind of getting actor energy here as an example, is so perfect that you make somebody feel heard without even them having to talk about their story. Or let's just say you do something and it's just such joy that you play the saxophone. the sexy sax. I love the saxophone. And you just put your heart into it, man. And somebody just hears that music and just healing your resonance in your music and your breath and tapping into that prana that goes through your body and comes out in that most beautiful in the now energy is healing to somebody. Then you are doing your destiny. Whatever it is you feel is your calling is right. But if you are called to something because somebody else told you that's the calling, but you always feel drawn somewhere else, you're always going to feel empty. You're going to feel a little lost. You're always going to feel like you have to grasp onto something else, that maybe that's where that success will come in. Maybe, doing what society said over there is when it will feel better. Maybe if you portray it as being successful out there and everyone thinks that you're a success, that you are, but then if you feel hollow inside, are you a success? And if there's something you can do today, because life is but a blink of an eye, there's something you can do today to start to make one step towards what is something in your life you feel proud that if you kick the bucket next week, you're so glad at least you started to do that thing. At least you had that moment. At least you put some effort into what really felt like a heart calling. Then I'm getting that you that alone, that aha moment of going in that direction is in itself a success. This was a big reading. I'm not even sure exactly the messages that came through here, so I hope this was a successful reading and something came through that helped you. And if there were things that came through that didn't make any sense or didn't feel like your situation, maybe there was something that came through that you still kind of resonated with, and you're going to be that one that nurtures somebody at some point that maybe is going through something that is different than you, but you have a different way for them to visualize or perceive that situation that maybe does offer some tremendous healing. We all need each other to heal this world, because there's a lot of crap that we deal with down here. So any little bit that somebody has for somebody else to follow their joy or feel love or have a moment of happiness or insight or clarity, empowerment, all of that's important. We're all here to help each other, guys. So let's go to the universe. This is a big reading today. I hope it was helpful. What is the biggest final message helpful today? Final message is, I feel like I need a drum roll. I don't have a drum roll, but wait, I do have a maraca. Wait, I got my rhythm before and I gotta try it now. We have a long reading anyway. I can do it. I don't think I'm doing it right. I have to get the extra in between thing. I'm gonna lighten this reading up at the end here. Also, take note of how beautiful these maracas are. Yeah, I don't even know the brand. Where that is. I should get out, I have a bunch of percussion tools here. I should get my tambourine. Ooh, should we get the tambourine for the next reading? I have a really nice tambourine. All right, let's see. Let's see what the final message is. If you're feeling stuck, kind of exactly what was coming through before. If you are feeling kind of stuck, you feel stuck in any area of your life, whatever category that is, whether it is a relationship, whether it's a job, whether it's just a situation, ask yourself, what is stopping you from leaving? What is really stopping you from leaving? If you feel stuck, if you feel stagnant, if you don't feel like you're growing, if your heart is calling you somewhere else, what is keeping you there? Is it change? Is it that something might not work out? Because you can create the change you want. If you don't want to go into the projection of what you're so scared of for the future, if you leave what you don't even want to be at, then as you take those steps, you make the appropriate changes necessary to recreate the now and the future that you want to be in. And you need to trust yourself that you can do that. Yes, leaving's scary, but sometimes it is the right step to take. We are right beside you. I feel like that's why I got that energy from like the medium energy. I do feel like you have some ancestors that are by you, helping you. Whether it's to get you, into your legacy, into your destiny, whether it's to take you towards the right partnership, whether it's to get you out of a weird partnership, whether it's to help you work on your career or a project where you feel like you are fulfilled every day you get to wake up and put attention and time into it. Or whether it's just to help you check out some things on your bucket list you've always wanted to do. For some of you, you have somebody, whether it could be a spirit guide as well, but I am definitely getting, getting like soul family kind of energy where you're getting guidance because they knew you were the one that could do it, whether that's breaking societal stigma or breaking generational curses or being the one that's like, I'm just kind of getting like I just heard stimulation or the stimulator. Hey, maybe you're the one that stimulates healing for the next generation. Maybe you are the stimulator that gives others permission that they can be themselves too, that they can make change too, that they don't have to go by the rules of everyone else when they're living their inner truth. Maybe you're going to be the one that comes through and you're guided to a partnership where just others, just others getting to observe what it's like to truly be in love with somebody else. Like deep love, spiritual love, different. Not the TV's version of what love is, but like really experience that energy. Maybe gives other people hope that that is possible for them too. And with this, I bid you adieu. I love you. I hope this was helpful. I very much look forward to seeing you soon.